Hey guys, Sky here. So, we are about a week into the Scalebreaker patch, and I'm sure some of you have noticed that there's a lot of dots going around, and people are shooting, 4 dots to you out of a giant Zerg, and a lot of the damage is undodgeable, and it's just really hard to deal with. So, I made this build. I've been playing it for a couple days. I am enjoying it. I think it's a really good counter to the dot meta. It has a lot of survivability without giving up very much damage. So just gonna jump right in here right off the bat. So we got Troll King. Stacking health recovery I feel like is the best way to counter the dots. There's just so many of them that stacking resistances isn't quite as good of a method of defense, I feel. So if you don't want to run Troll King, you can always run Blood Spawn. It works as well. I definitely feel like Troll King's a better counter to it, though. If you're fighting outnumbered, you're fighting 7 people, I don't know, you shouldn't need to feel bad about anything you're wearing if you, successfully 1vx them. So the other set we're running is the new 7th Legion. So this set, the new 5 pieces, when you cast an ability, it increases your physical or spell resistance. You gain 350 weapon damage and health recovery for 10 seconds, and it can occur every 10 seconds. So that's this new little thing. You might have just seen it earlier, this new effect here. That is 7th Legion being up, so it's really easy to tell on Stamsorc when it's up. It cannot be refreshed, so you can't refresh it, which is kind of a downside, but it gives us a ton of health recovery and a ton of damage too. It's basically like having your own personal Clever Alchemist. I love this set because you can run it on your back bar only. You don't need to run it on your front bar, and you still get that health recovery line too. So we have just standing here 22.99 health recovery, and if we're sprinting we get 24.34, so plenty of health recovery. Next set, so we're running Briarheart as our next set. So this guy, when you deal critical damage, it raises your weapon damage by 449 for 10 seconds. I don't know why it's not 450, but whatever. And then while it's active, your critical strikes heal you for 633 health. So getting a lot of damage out of this set, as well as stam line and 2 crit lines. The crit's nice on Stamsorc. It helps make it easier to proc our crit surge, and it helps easier to proc our Briarheart. So in total, with everything procced without continuous attack, this build will get up to about 5,000 weapon damage. With Troll King up, it'll get up to 5,000 health recovery. And then for stamina recovery, it's 1758 with a potion up, or with potion down, and it's 1990 with a potion up. I have continuous right now, so with minor endurance, it's 2105, so plenty of recovery. It's just really good, a lot of survivability. So the last thing we're running is Master Dual Wield on the front bar, Nirnhone, Sharpened, Axe, and Dagger. The Dagger, the crits help kind of what we're trying to do here, and getting a lot of crits to heal through our crit surge and proc Briarheart, and the Axe gives us a passive bleed for a little more pressure because we are kind of lacking on the damage skills side. It buffs our rending a lot, which is really nice. So our jewelry, we're still running 3 protective. I think this is just the best way to... the best thing for those. You can try infused or robust, up to you. Even swift maybe, but I still am enjoying 3 protective. I feel like it's just the kind of most bang for your buck trait out there. And you can also run the Black Rose dual wield set if you would like. That one gives you major protection when you use Blade Cloak for 3 seconds. So really nice for kiting on that. For enchants, we're running 3 prismatic and 4 stamina. Stamina on the small pieces, prismatic on the big pieces. We're running 2 weapon damage enchants and a stam recovery enchant. We're also running double dot poisons on the front bar just to give us some more pressure, and one-handed enchants suck now. And then we're running a weapon damage enchant on the back bar for when we light attack to go to our front bar. We get that weapon damage. It's nice to have. I'm running defending back here, and I'm running a battle axe. The battle axe just gives us a chance to get a passive bleed when we light attack before we go to our front bar, and I'm running it in defending, so just to give me a little more resistance. You can see on our back bar we got 24k spell, 27k physical, so good amount of resistance there. Alright, so moving on to skills. We're running Streak. This now cannot be blocked, which is really nice. Previously that was one of its flaws. People could just kind of block and, whatever, the stupid zerglings, and now they can't block it, so hurts them pretty bad. And it also scales with your highest offensive stats now as well. I think that was new last patch, so it does a little more damage, which is good to have. We're running Quick Cloak. This is for our major expedition. So we have a ton of speed on this build with Quick Cloak, so we get major expedition. I mean, I'm flying around this island. I can't even control it. We're also running the Steed Mundus, which gives us even more health recovery and movement speed. I think this is the best Steed Mundus for Stamsorc, personally. And then we're running our Tamed Takeaway Broth for some more health recovery. That's how we get up to 5k. So with an Orc, while we're sprinting, we're an Orc by the way, we're flying. It's so fast. So then we're running Rending. I prefer Rending to Blood Craze on this build because I feel like the Snare gives more pressure than the healing is from Blood Craze is worth. And also Rending does a little more initial damage, which is just nice to have because you can see we don't have a spammable, you know, we don't have a lot of like direct pressure damage, so we usually just heavy attack into Rending, and there we go. And then we can just Dawnbreaker and Spindle and put people down. So Whirling Blades are auto execute. This is a nice skill. I don't recommend spamming this too much. If anything, just reapply Rending Slashes or your buffs if you have downtime. It is expensive if you spam it, so you only want to use it when they're below 50%. We're running Bound Armaments to increase our max stamina and our light attack damage. We usually don't activate it. It's pretty expensive for the block mitigation it offers. And also we want a Daedric Summoning ability slotted on our front bar for the 20% health recovery and 20% stamina recovery passive. And our last thing, our ultimate Dawnbreaker Smiting, good old go-to from Stamsorc. It gets reduced all the way down to only 107 ultimate, so I still think it's the best one, even though it has this stupid little cast time added to it. So we go to our back bar, we're running Forward Momentum. Even though we're in medium, we're not running Rally because Forward Momentum, I feel, is just a little better because it frees up bar space, so we don't have to run like Rally and Shuffle. We can just run Forward Momentum and drop Shuffle, and then we get Major Evasion from Quick Cloak. So that's why we're doing that. And then Critical Surge. This guy, of course, is that awesome passive heal over time that Stamsorcs get. So basically every time you crit, it's going to proc, and it heals for quite a bit. And then last thing that kind of depends on our sets is Hurricane. So this is what we use to proc 7th Legion. It's also our Major Ward and Major Resolve, as well as Minor Expedition. And it does some nice little damage over time and good pressure. So Dark Deal, this guy's just kind of a sustain tool. I would try to use it every 20 seconds because it gives this little passive recovery. I have full stam, so it's not going to show right now, but you know, it gives a passive little recovery of stam. I think it comes out to like, I don't know, 240 recovery a second. So nice to have. And then Vigor, this is only 4 seconds now, but it's still a really good self-heal, and we want to try and use it whenever we're under pressure. Back bar, we're running the Atro. This is good in a group because someone can grab the Major Berserk synergy, but it's mainly there just to proc this Daedric Protective passive, which gives you 20% health and stam recovery. Alright, so moving on to CP. So we're starting the red tree because we've tweaked it a little bit from days past. So we're running 61 Ironclad, 27 medium armor focus. If you want, you can split it between Spell Shield and medium and just put an even amount in either one, but stick to that 27 number. 47 resistant for some more crit resist. 61 thick skin, so this number is a lot higher than it previously has been. We're still getting our Unchained passive in here, but we're only running 37 in Ellie instead of 43 like we usually do. So 37 Hardy, 37 Ellie, and then 61 thick. And then we took our points out of quick recovery because we're more focused on our heal, like having a lot of heals rather than big heals, if that makes sense. And the green tree, 32 sprinter, very important for Stamsorc. I do have an extra point in here, even though it doesn't round up. That's just because that's the way it worked out. 1 in Siphoner for the debuff that takes up purge slots. 56 into Warlord for 20% reduction on break free, 56 Mooncalf. I'm just running 8 in Tenacity to get us to 120 here, 56 into Healthy for 120 in Lover, so this gives us 2% movement speed, which is, it doesn't sound like much, but it adds up with all our other speed buffs, and it also increases our health and magic recovery by 10% while sprinting, which is actually really useful for Stamsorc. So. And then lastly, just 61 into Tumbling. I don't really block on this build. If you really need to, you know, CP is a very personal thing, kind of personal preference, so you can always, you know, tweak it. This is just how I like to run it. Once again, we're not running any in Blessed. I know it's crazy, but we're just mainly focused on buffing the passive heals. So we are running 120 in the Atronarch. That's 81 Mastered Arms, 29 Physical Weapons Expert, and 11 Shattering Blows. These two are kind of just here to help us get filler to the 120 mark to get us Tactician. This is just, you know, when we roll dodge, basically we can set people off balance and get 10% more damage. And also if we heavy attack them, we can give them a little surprise stun. Because we do 10% more damage to enemies that are off balance. So 31 Thaw, 44 Precise, 31 Piercing, 43 Mighty. Once again, pretty standard here, just trying to squeeze as much damage out of our Rending Slashes as we can. I do believe Thom also buffs Hurricane as well. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And so that's that for CP. So once again, you can swap Bloodspawn if you really want to for Troll King. You can run Dubious instead of Artaeum. And you can run Black Rose instead of Master. Those are what I would call the 3 options on this patch. The potions I would recommend are these, the Health Stam and Lingering Health. Basically, these proc Troll King, the Lingering Health does, and they're just a really strong heal over time to add to the other heals over time that we're running, our Crit Surge and our, you know, Briarheart and all that stuff. If you don't have these, you can't afford them, you can always run Essence of Weapon Crit. These are much cheaper. They give you some more crit, so they'll help your damage a bit, and they return health and stamina. But no matter what we do, we want to make sure that we're using a potion that gives us health back and stamina back, because that'll give us 20% stamina recovery and 20% health recovery buff, and that's just really important to this patch. So that's all for this build. There's going to be some clips of it coming up. Like I said, it's an absolute speed demon. It just flies all over Cyrodiil. Not when we're swimming though, but and then it still gets 5k weapon damage with everything fully buffed. So it's just really nice. It's really good for this dot meta. We can kite forever. We have great sustain, and then once again we have 5,000 health recovery when Troll King's running, so definitely helps counter the dot meta. So once again, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments, and we'll have some PvP videos hopefully coming soon. Thanks.